Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to another episode of Into the Ivy. It is episode 2 of the 2024 season. We've got a recap of the week's last games. We've got rotation questions, bullpen questions. It's all about pitching today. Of course, we've got player of the week and we've got a standings update coming at you right now. Welcome back. Again, it is another episode of Into the Ivy, episode 2. Today's date is Monday, April 22nd. We've got a recap of the last week's games. The Cubs finished a series with the Seattle Mariners. We had 3 games out in the desert with the Arizona Diamondbacks and just finished up a 4-game series with the Miami Marlins. Before we get into anything, though, let's go ahead and talk the rotation. So a week ago, we were waiting for Jameson Taillon to come back. We anticipated him making a start this week. It did, in fact, turn out being what would have been the Thursday first game of the homestand against the Miami Marlins. Got pushed back to Friday due to crappy weather. J-Mo looked good. There's really not much to say except that he went out there and he had the outing that you needed him to have. Jameson Taillon went out. He had a commanding performance against what was a really, really bad Miami Marlins team. Of course, after how the weekend went, I can't really talk too much crap about them because they came into this series with 4 wins. They're leaving with 6, so you do the math on how that went. But just a quick recap on Taillon: 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run on the home run that wind blowing out. Any other day, he might come out of this with no runs. You never know. The 1.80 ERA, after how he looked at the beginning of the year last year, small sample size, but what he's just given you today, if that's what he brings to the table in 2024, this team is poised for excellence moving forward. If this is what you get out of what is your number 2 starter. Just the rotation is very front loaded right now. The anchor at the end of it continues to be Kyle Hendricks. I don't know how to say these things nicely, so I'm just going to try my best. He struggled heavily against a really, really, and I think that everyone will agree with me, a bad Marlins team. Like this team, I mean, you came into this series with 4 wins, late April, 16 losses. It's just brutal because of all the series that the Cubs have played up till now. You sweep the Rockies, which you should do. You take 2 of 3 against the Dodgers, which I don't think any of us expected to do. 2 of 3 against the Mariners on the road. That was great. 2 of 3 against the Diamondbacks in Arizona. We all know how last year went against Arizona. We'll all take that. So we come into the series at Wrigley against the Marlins and now upcoming the Astros, who are both struggling baseball teams. I'm not saying that you need to go out there and sweep the Marlins. I don't think anybody ever says that you have to sweep unless you're in a win or go home mode. But you kind of need to win 3 out of 4 there. And granted, they probably do, and we'll get to that when we talk about the bullpen. But I don't think I'm the only one that will sit here and say they did not expect the Kyle Hendricks outing to be a loss. I did. I tweeted it 2 days before. I tweeted it after game 1 of the doubleheader on Saturday. It sucks that we lose game 1 of the doubleheader and splitting a series with a 5-win at the time, 5-win baseball team just became that much more realistic. I had already accepted what was going to happen Kyle Hendricks outing today. And that's unfortunate. We should not have to We shouldn't have to. With how this team was built and how this team has performed in the early goings of this season, you cannot accept going out there and just having a loss every 5 days. And, I'm grateful for everything Kyle Hendricks has meant to this organization. I'm grateful for everything that he's done for this organization. But the time of being a starter is over. He once again did not make it past 5 innings. He got shelled for 5 hits. He gave up 7 earned runs like I'm pretty sure he has his last 2 outings. That's 3 outings in a row of 7 earned runs. Or no, I'm sorry, that's the Diamondbacks outing. The Diamondbacks outing didn't even see the 5th inning. Or I'm sorry, didn't even make 5 innings pitched. He had 5 hits, 7 earned runs, 2 home runs. And then the outing yesterday against the Marlins, 4 innings pitched, 6 hits, 4 earned runs, 1 home run. He's getting lit up. The first 2 innings were great, and it all falls apart in inning number 3. I've heard a lot of Cubs media outlets by some of us fans and on Cubs Twitter. I've heard a lot of good points made. We're not gonna DFA Kyle Hendricks. We're just not. I was listening to CHGO the other day, and one of the guys made the point for a front office that preaches you can never have too much pitching depth. We're not just going to go and DFA Kyle Hendricks on April 22nd. We're not going to do that. I know gut reaction, just getting mad on Twitter. Yeah, DFA him. We're going to say whatever we want in the moment. But when you step back and look at it, I don't think it's unrealistic to take the rotation away from him. I don't think that you need to send him down to Iowa. If you are committed to him being a starter for this baseball team, sorry, buddy, but the Phantom IL is coming. You're going to have a Phantom IL stint probably when Justin Steele returns. We'll get some kind of shoulder inflammation, tightness. You take your pick. Kyle Hendricks will get sent down to Iowa to work out some mechanic issues, whatever is going on, and then they'll bring him back up. I think that while that is something you can do if you want to open a roster spot for a Hayden Wesneski or even Luke Little, since the roster is going to be going back down again after the doubleheader, that is something that you can pursue. I don't think that Kyle Hendricks out of the bullpen would be terrible. We could at least try it. It's worth the experiment. He did have 2 pretty decent innings before it all came crashing down. If he can go out there, if let's say any of your other starters gives you 5 innings, if he can pitch a 6th into a 7th inning, I think we'd take that, especially if it's effective. But he has not proven that he can make it through the lineup a second time without getting hit around. That's what I have to say on the Kyle Hendricks matter. This is start number 4. He's taken the loss in 3 of them. And that Dodgers one was just back and forth. He got bailed out by an offense 2 weeks ago that put up 9 runs. Good news for the rotation is Justin Steele threw a bullpen session yesterday. And, Marquee Sports tweeted videos of it. It was all over Cubs Twitter. And I don't think that happens if they're going to delay his rehab starts. I think that we are going to get an announcement for that soon, if we haven't already at the time of this recording. It is actually 1:20 it's 1:20. It's 1:20 Eastern time on the 22nd. So if you're listening to this and something's already come out about Justin Steele, yeah, that's going to happen with past recorded broadcasts. But I was looking at the schedule, if we're looking at he's going to miss all of April, like Craig Counsell said, that takes out the Astros series, takes out the Red Sox series this weekend, and it takes out the Mets, or at least half the Mets series in the last 2 days of April. You got the 2 games left in New York on May 1st, May 2nd before you come back for another homestand, 3 games with the Milwaukee Brewers and 3 games with the San Diego Padres. I think if Justin Steele has 2 good outings in the minor leagues over the next 2 weeks, he gets that start probably on a Friday 120 outing against the Milwaukee Brewers. I think they're going to need him for that series. And then that would give you the ability to have Justin Steele again pitch against the Padres, which you need your best pitcher. He is the best pitcher on this team. You need him going twice in that homestand. That's going to be a tough one. With that being said on Justin Steele, I think the complete rotation of what we should have from this team is Justin Steele is your 1, Jameson Taillon is your 2, Shota Imanaga at 3, Jordan Wicks at 4, and Ben Brown should be the 5th starter for this team. I know that the biggest question out there is he going to be on a rookie innings limit, which is possible. That would be the only thing that I can think of after what I've seen up till now on his constant improvement that would prevent that from happening. Maybe he takes over that long innings relief role. But unless Kyle Hendricks turns it around, I don't see it. You could keep Javier Assad in the rotation in that 5th spot. That would be great too, but Assad would be an even better long innings guy. I think he's had success there. Not that he hasn't had success in the rotation, but there's so many things that we can do with this starting 5 and that 5th spot. That 5th spot, when Justin Steele returns, it's going to be very fun to watch. All right, let's go ahead and take it the bullpen. This is a new segment. We're going to look at the So obviously, Diamondbacks series, you get the 2-1 series win. It was a fun series to watch. Game 1, Nico Orner comes around, scores on the wild pitch from second base. You get that 3-2 win. That was electric. The 11-12 loss, that one just stung because you felt like we should have won that one. Obviously, the 6-run 7th inning, we were up big after the Ian Happ grand slam. Bullpen falls apart. Tough to see, man. Just tough to see. And then the 5-3 win on Wednesday to take the series. But as much fun as the Diamondback series was, I can't move past the Marlins series. That is not how I wanted to spend this episode. Ideally, we would have been talking about the Arizona series a lot more, as it was really exciting. And the Marlins series felt like it was a trap series, and the Cubs got trapped. That is what happened here. 2-2 series split against this team just feels like a series loss at the end of the day. It doesn't feel good, especially after how big they won on Friday, 8-3 behind Jamison Tyon. Game 2 was extremely winnable, man. It just becomes one of those outings that we want back in September. That's really all it is at this point. You go into the top of the ninth, up a run, you bring Alzolay in. When you bring your closer in, you should have all the faith in the world that he is going to get those 3 outs, and you're going to be singing the damn song. You're going to be singing Go Cubs Go. That wasn't the case again today. This is Adbert's 4th blown save in 10 outings. 4 blown saves, 4 ninth inning home runs. It's time to hit the panic button. He had 3 blown saves in all of 2023. He has 4 as of April 22nd. I'm not saying that we can't reevaluate that 3 months from now, but right now, Adbert Alzolay is not the closer for this team. He is not the ninth inning guy. He shouldn't be after what we've seen up until now. And I don't think that that's outrageous to say. I think you've got internal options on the roster. I think Mark Leiter Jr. is going to get an opportunity. Hector Neris has already gotten an opportunity with the game 2 of that game 2 of the doubleheader. And then Keegan Thompson is a name that could resurface. I know some folks on Twitter have been saying Ben Brown is someone that could get ninth inning looks. Possible. I think that the 3 guys that I just mentioned before will get the looks prior to that, as Ben Brown is more of someone that has seen long innings usage out of the bullpen, not so much a single inning high leverage like a closing role. So we'll see what transpires there as the season goes on. But like I said, the Adbert Alzolay blown save on Saturday, and then just the Kyle Hendricks clunker yesterday on Sunday, that it's a bad feeling. It just feels bad. And it makes me angry. I could sit here and just be angry. And I was yesterday. I'm still a little bit today, but at the end of the day, it's April 22nd. I know we probably did this last year. We're like, oh yeah, it's just one game. It's just one game. We missed the playoffs by 1 game. You can't just keep leaving games that you should win out there. We needed to win 3 out of 4 here. 2 out of 2. As long as you don't lose the series, I guess that's fine. We'll take that. It's just a sucky feeling splitting with the Marlins with how they've played this season. Player of the week last week, I gave it to Nico. Oh, I'm sorry, I just gave it away. Last week I gave it to Michael Busch. This week, yes, I am giving it to Nico Hoerner. So Nico went over the last week 12 for 30. That's batting 400 in a week. That's pretty darn good. 3 RBIs, 7 runs scored, and 4 extra base hits. He's having the week that we have been waiting for. Up until that Diamondback series, Nico Hoerner has just looked lost. He's not looked like the player we needed him to be. And now he's starting to get hot at the right time, especially with the Ian Happ scare on his hamstring, with the hamstring tightness. We've hopefully got good news with that. I know Tony Andracki on Twitter, he posted that Ian could be in the lineup tomorrow against the Houston Astros. He said that he was available to come off the bench yesterday in the series finale against the Marlins. I would rather not use him in a 6-3 loss that just looked hopeless from the 7th inning on, and give him that extra 2 days of rest before a big Astros series. Astros not looking too great coming into this. But here again, we said the same thing about the Marlins. So my confidence level is kind of at the midpoint right now. 3 games with them, you need to take 2. I think that you probably need to sweep the Astros. I know at the beginning of the episode you don't necessarily need to sweep anybody unless late in the season. Their entire starting rotation is on IL, the Houston Astros. They have not won 10 games yet. We are probably going to miss Justin Verlander by 1 game. So I don't even know who their pitchers are. I don't. And that's not me trying to knock on them. I have not had time to look as in depth at the Houston Astros this season. I just know that they're extremely unlucky with the injury bug, and this is a series that you need to win. Obviously, you need to finish the homestand strong, as you got 3 games in Boston and 4 in Queens coming up. Lastly, just want to go over the quick standings update. As of today, as of right now, the Cubs are still 2 games back behind the Brewers in second place, and they're a half game ahead of the Reds, who are in third place. So we've got a little bit of a grasp on second place right now. Brewers getting the sweep of the Cardinals, just insult to injury, because we could have caught them in the standings. And I don't want to play standings game in April, but it just goes back to 2023, man, with how the season ended. It's hard not to keep in the back of your mind. But the rotation should reset. We're going to get another Imanaga outing, probably against the Astros. I'm pretty sure Jordan Wicks is probably going to start tomorrow. And then hopefully we get Tyon again before we get back to probably Kyle Hendricks. But for this episode of Into the Ivy, trying to get things a little bit more structured, still working through some things, still trying to find a format that I like best for these episodes. If you guys like something, let me know. If you don't like something, let me know. I will be going through the comments and reading those, because I want to provide content and a show that is enjoyable for the average fan to watch. I'm not an expert at things. I love to talk about the Cubs. I like to do data tracking. I love numbers. I love baseball numbers. They're my favorite kind of numbers. So hopefully I can put all of that together into this podcast platform sandwich, if you will, and provide some content that's just fun to watch and follow. Keep up with us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook. We're posting highlights. We're posting these episodes. We're posting graphics. We're posting memes. Check it out. You won't be disappointed. And hopefully we've got some exciting news on the horizon. Stay tuned. Still not ready to talk about the big surprise in mid-April for myself, but it is going to be requiring, as you know, I live in Central Florida. It is going to be requiring visiting an airport. So do with that what you will. Who knows where I'm going? I didn't say I'm going anywhere. You might just have to assume that, or did I? I don't know. Other than that, no episode next week. I will be unavailable the entire week, so you will be getting another episode of Into the Ivy from me, not next week, but probably the week after. So we're looking at probably that May 5th, May 6th in the middle of the next homestand. So hopefully the road trip goes well for the Red Sox and Mets games. Those series hopefully will treat us kindly. Hopefully the Astros series goes well, and we'll check back in during that Brewers series or in the middle of the Padres. We'll see what happens. Still landing on a date. TBD. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate all you guys. Thank you so much for giving me your time, coming along for the ride with me. Go Cubs, go, baby. We'll see you next week. Not next week. Just kidding. I just lied. 2 weeks. Bye-bye.